how to create interesting sort of sketch designs like this using the art history brush. Now, I did an earlier video where I used the star design, so please check that video out, but I'll just quickly show you this star design here. Very basic one, just created using the polygon tool and using the various star settings. So what I did, defined it as a brush. So got that as a brush. Now, just going to go back to the document here. And you can see what I've done with the art history. There's the art history tool. Now, your art history tool may be completely in a different position depending on the customization of Photoshop. But what did this design look like before? Well, here's the cap. I'm just going to get rid of that. So here's the original source design. So what I did, I blurred this design. So I'm just going to quickly blur this image. And that's going to be the art history state. So what I go to filter and then blur and Gaussian blur and go for a fairly high impact, like 135 pixels, something like that. So once you've done that, what you can then do is you can go over here, Gaussian blur, and you can just click on there and put a history state, sets the source for a history brush, and that's what this art history will use. So I'm just going to click there. Now, of course, that doesn't particularly do anything other than just sets the history state. So what you can then do is you can go back obviously to the start point, but you've still got that history state. That doesn't get removed. That's stored away, and that's what this brush is going to use. And now, with this brush here, I can apply that design, that star design. But I'm going to reduce the size. And also what I'm going to do, I'm not going to have this design here. I'm going to fill it with white. So edit and fill, and I'm just going to go with white there. Click OK. And now what I can do, I can just apply this thing. Now, I've set it to about 11. You could set it to 28, 30, whatever, or even 3 pixels. Something very, very. I've got normal blending mode, opacity 100%, loose long. I'm using area 59 pixels, and it doesn't particularly matter about the angle. I'm just going to set that back to 0 and then simply apply the brush. And you can apply obviously rapidly or not. And you can see, because of using the blur, instead of having it sort of jig-jag all over the place, the blur has actually meant that they sort of smoothed it out. So you get this sort of nice smooth design instead of all over the place that you would normally get with the art history if it was just doing it with a standard image. And you can see it just really, really sort of lovely. You can do it more rapidly. And of course, I could continue I'm just going to do it very, very quickly. You can see the build up of the cat design there. Now I'm using a pen, just a pen there, but you can obviously do exactly the same with a mouse. Obviously, you don't want the cat to be chasing that. Terrible joke, I know. However, right, so you've got that design. Doesn't look like much of a cat, does it, at this point? Now, what you can do, you can go to Edit, and you can fill it. Edit and fill. And now what you can do is you can go to the history state. Now, you could, of course, fill it, and that will just fill it with the blur, which you might not want. So what you can do is you can go over here to the history and set that. Now, I'm not going to use this Gaussian blur anymore. As soon as I go off it, that will disappear. So you have to, you've decided that as far as you want to go, because you can't go back after that. So it just continue quickly if you want to add more. So go there and go back, click there. Now, it's obviously still there, but as soon as you do something, you'll notice it disappears. So what you can do is edit and fill. And now what you can do, you can go to history. So you've got that, and I'm using blending mode, normal there. Click OK, and it just fills it. And then you can see now the Gaussian blur has disappeared. So what you can then do, of course, is you can go to edit, and you can fade the fill. And then you can go through blending modes. So darken, multiply, and you can see you can create a whole variety of different sort of designs on that poor cat. And you've got there, colour burn, linear burn, dark colour, lighten, screen. And you can see, you can end up, or maybe overlay, and so on. So you can just see, go through the whole load of these different settings. I think screen is quite a nice one. So click OK. And then you've got it. Now to get it into like maybe black and white, simply just go to image menu, or you could use layers. So image menu, adjustments, and black and white. And then you can tweak that. Obviously it's got a lot of blue in there, so if you want the background to be quite emphasis on blue, because it was blue, just set those blues very low, maybe put the reds up there, and then click OK. And there you have it. Quick black and white sort of sketch thing, which sort of looks like, and of course what you can do, you've still got this here, so you can always bring it in again. So if you decide, you know what, I want to see more of the image, I can just go to, again, edit and fill, and again use the history state, but this time maybe you might want to say set it 50. Now you can of course do the fade still, but you can do it here as well, set 50, and you can see then you can go to edit and fade fill, darken, lighten. So you can just vary it, just keep working on it, just combine those maybe multiple ways. You might think, well, that looks really nice. And there's a good end point. You've got your obviously black and white cat, and you've got the blue background there. And that's it. A quick way of creating a very interesting, unusual sketch. And of course you could apply other effects to it as well. There's obviously loads of filters you can apply, maybe oil paint, etc., and some stylize, and many more. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Please subscribe to the Graphicxtras channel. Always adding new tutorials about Photoshop. Obviously I'm using 221 here, but you could use 220, 219. All the features I've shown in this were in earlier versions as well. Also, Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer, great videos for all of those. So please check out the channel. Also, if you've got any comments, obviously things you didn't understand, please let me know. But like I say, please check out the earlier video. I've created just the previous video was showing how to use the art history brush and the creation of the brush. So I didn't want to create it again, but I just want to show you an example of what that brush was. So please check that one out as well. Obviously, any comments, any things that I maybe went too fast on, maybe want a bit more explanation, please let me know. Also, any things you think maybe I could improve on with this. A dislike or like, always appreciated. Thank you much.